So, give you guys a second to connect to the Zoom room. It might just take a second. Find it's inconsistent with how long it takes every once in a while. Okay. If you're not in the campus yet, which I don't think anybody isn't, you can just borrow a friend's screen for the time being. You all have access to those. This one? I don't remember if that's right. Okay, so I think the majority of y'all are connected. If you're still connecting, you can borrow your friend's screen, or you can always look up at the projector, because that's what the Zoom room is showing off. Let's talk about the syllabus, and I will link this. I'll link it to the thread after I finish up this presentation, so you can just easily find it from the thread as well. So if you go to modules, I have literally just polished this Blakeney graphic design syllabus for 23-24 right here. And you can either watch me go through it and listen, or you can open it on your own screen and read along with me as we cover some of the big stuff. So I'm going to full screen this. We got the course description, right, which is pretty fluffy. It's straight from the state, but basically this course is an introductory course to Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, and a little bit of Adobe InDesign if we have some time. It's very much becoming comfortable with the programs. Graphic Design 2 is where a lot more of the theory of graphic design and some of the science and the psychology, the more traditional like workplace clone of graphic design, of working in graphic design, that's Design 2. Design 1 is just getting you familiar with the programs. Mia, can you put your phone away, please? Thank you. Okay, the objective, it's kind of what we're going over here. Important or introductory class that teaches you the important visual arts skills like drawing, design principles, drafting, and digital design tools that will allow you to create several working projects along the way. This class is project-based, which will make more sense once we get into the grading breakdown. So because there's no official homework, it's also very hard to test you in a traditional sense with, just study guides and that thing and the other thing. So your projects will serve as your summative tests. Projects are usually going to be at the end of a module. There's going to be assignments in that module that cover the pieces of the concept that I'm showing off. And then the project is your guys' opportunity to creatively exercise that concept or those concepts into something that you can show off that kind of culminates what we covered in that module. There is no required prior knowledge of the Adobe suite or of graphic design in general for this course. You need to know how to use a computer, but all of you guys do that, so that's not a problem. And as we get more into the actual project submitting and stuff, there's a specific way I want you to name your files, which we went over briefly the other day. But other than that, no graphic design experience is required. This is open to a variety of skill levels. Some materials you might need. I have pencils, paper, a little bit. It's recommended you have a sketchbook or have some spare paper that you can sketch on. That is an important part of some of our design processes. And we have some markers that we could use here as well. You have your desktop and a school laptop provided. If you need any tech help, they can only service school-issued devices. They cannot service personal devices. So keep that in mind if you're choosing to use a personal laptop. And the tech office is nice and close. They are sharing this wall with the windows. So if you just leave out the exit and then go to the door next door, they can. You have a really quick point of entry with the tech team. And then you can also use your phone for school appropriate reasons, like we talked about in the live on air sort of discussion here. Okay, talk a little bit here about some honesty, some late work, and the courtesies and behaviors of the course, right? Because this is CTE, stands for Career in Tech Ed, if you've never heard that acronym before. We're focused on career skills and professionalism. I'm aiming to provide you guys a very close to the workplace experience in high school with classes like these. So you should treat this classroom as your work environment where you practice your skills. You need to be respectful and courteous of your fellow students who are your coworkers, so to speak, your co-designers. Your teacher, I'm your supervisor or your manager or your clients, all important relationships that you need to maintain in the graphic design world. and your workspace, which is this classroom, your office, helps to keep it clean, helps to keep it organized, stuff like that. Obviously, we got eyes and ears on the instructor when in class. We got the live on air sign, the Zoom room tools that will make it easy for you to keep up. And questions are encouraged in this class. Please do not hesitate to ask me. Interrupt me even if you need to, because I much more value you asking questions and digging deeper than just waiting for the right time. So interrupt me when it happens, and I'll do my best to answer you. All right, honesty. We got some pretty basic honesty rules here. Cheating will not be tolerated. Obviously, school policies apply in full. If you're caught copying somebody or using someone else's design directly, you will receive a 0 on that assignment or quiz. However, there's an asterisk on that because a lot of graphic design is getting inspired by other designers. So it's hard to sometimes not copy in a weird way. If you find a design that you like, you can recreate it. You just can't directly take another student's work and call it your own, right? It's a lot. I emphasize being inspired by your students or by your coworkers, by gaining inspiration in the world, you know, so there is a lot of copying, quote unquote, that happens in the graphic design world, but it can't be cheating copy is my asterisk on this. Right, so looking at information online is great. Brainstorming with a friend is great. Having a friend teach you is great. But anything that doesn't kind of fall into those buckets will be reported to the appropriate administrator, and we will go from there. All content that you create, text, images, etc., must be school appropriate. You will receive a 0 on the assignment that violates this policy, and it will result in an email home referral to the administration, blah, blah, blah. I will talk to you before all of that happens, right? Talk a little bit about AI-generated results. My stance on AI is that AI is a very fascinating tool, but it has to be used appropriately and ethically. AI is a great place to start to help you come up with ideas, but it is your responsibility to create the final artwork. If I find out a result that you submitted to me was AI-generated, we'll have a conversation, and that violates my honesty policy and is not something that you want to look forward to. All right. So again, AI is useful for helping you get started, but AI should not be your final product is my basic gist on how I want AI to work. All right. Question for me, or you guys just chatting? It's okay either way. Okay. I'm going to keep pressing forward. Okay. Anyway. Let's talk about late work. So late work is going to be due by the due date posted. That is usually going to be a Friday at the end of the week. I teach the front half, you guys work the mid half, and then we refine it on the last portion of the day. It is important to keep up with work due to the nature of the due to the project-based nature of this class. All right, here's my late policy. So late assignments, whether that's 5 minutes late or 2 weeks late, will incur a 30% penalty. This is adjusted per your IEP or 504 accommodations if you have one of those, and I am aware of that, okay? So if you turn in an assignment, it's due, they're usually gonna be due at midnight, so you have time outside of class to finish them up or to come check with me after school. If you turn it in at 12:05, the max you can get on it is a 70%, or if you turn it in 2 weeks later, still max 70%, and they will be accepted up until these 2 dates. So your first deadline is when Q3 grading ends on April 15th, 2024. So an example of that, let's say you're working on a project that we start in 2 weeks, like module 3 or something. That project, for whatever reason, gets turned in a month late. If that month late is still ahead of April 15th, the max you can get on that assignment is a 70%, depending on the quality of your submission. Does that make sense? Basically, these 2 windows right here are when assignments before them will close. So assignments that are started on April 16th, anything before that will no longer be accepted and will be a 0 in the gradebook. So with this in mind, I want to emphasize, done is better than perfect. It's very, very easy as graphic designers to fall into a trap of perfectionism, trying to get it right, trying to get it perfect, whatever. It's important that you guys try something and maybe it doesn't work out, but at least you learned what didn't work out. That's just as valuable as learning what does work exactly. So I'm emphasizing that even if it's not up to the perfect standard, but you have a good amount of it done, that is still worth a lot of points. I value that in you guys as well. But to keep up or to prevent a ton of assignments coming in right when grades are due and putting me behind and putting all of us in a position that is not awesome, this is the 2 main windows of when your assignments will be accepted up until. So anything we work on until April 15th will be accepted, but if it's late from the due date, the max you can get on it is a 70%. Does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions on that? Okay, I will move forward. All right, seating charts. You're expected to be here every day on time. There are tools that help you catch up if you miss it, but you will fall behind if you continue to be absent or late, because there's important stuff covered at the beginning of the periods, especially at the beginnings of the week. All right. I'm thinking seating charts will rotate every 4 to 6 weeks. So once a month, you'll have a new seat, or maybe every month and a half, because it is important that you're able to collaborate with others and work with a variety of students in this class. There's not a ton of teamwork or group projects, but there is some, and it's important that you guys have the opportunity to experience that in Graphic Design 1. For the days that you miss, you'll be given the appropriate time to catch up and turn in the projects or assignments up to 2 weeks after class missed for full credit. And you and I can discuss that so that I have note of it and it makes sense once we get into if we need to have that conversation. All right, grading. So this course consists of small projects, discussions, and larger projects as a majority of the way that you can earn credit for this course. Work during class time, finish and submit projects to the best of your ability, participate in discussions, and you will enjoy success in this class. I break my grades down into 4 categories. 10% of that is participation. That's your in-class activities, extra credit opportunities, any discussion board for the most part. Assignments are your formative assessments, where it's just little practices of the things that we're covering. Projects are those summatives. That's worth 50% of your grade. So if you find your grades are falling behind and you want to have a conversation with me, the first thing that I'm going to look for is your projects. See which projects you can help catch up on. That's half your grade right there. It's going to be the comprehensive demos of the skills outline. And then 10% is your final, which is a project and a reflection. Here's how I break down my grade categories. They're by 10%. So 100 to 90 is an A B, C, D. Anything lower than a 59% is an F, and the grades range on a 10% scale. Most of your assignments will require the powerful computers that we have in the lab, and they are designed to fit into the class time. Some of your work on big projects may be outside of class, but you will be given plenty of class time and plenty of time to check in with me if you need, or if that ever comes up. And again, there is no dedicated homework for this class. Grades are your responsibility. You have to take the initiative to help me figure out where your grades are at, because I have a lot of students, and as much as I want to check in with each of you, that would take our entire week, unfortunately. So if you're curious about your grades, you have to come to me and we can talk about it. And I'm happy to build a plan with you and come up with some stuff in case we need to. So, all right, this course, if you were not aware, is a dual credit course. It's approved by the Bellevue College for students who demonstrate proficiency of the college course competencies. So if you earn a B or higher from this class, you may be eligible to earn some college credit through Bellevue College. So during this semester, all the college competencies will be covered. You must register online using the statewide enrollment and reporting system, which is CTE SERS. The Counseling Career Center can help you out with that too. And there is a non-refundable $50 fee if you want to earn the college credit, which is through the pnwcollegecredit.org. And you must register for dual credit when enrolled in the high school course. You will get instructions on how to register period in the middle of the semester. So this is optional, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. I need to confirm with the Counseling and Career Center, but it's been optional in the past. And if you want to earn some free or mostly much highly discounted college credit, this class does offer that for you, as well as a variety of other CTE courses. Okay. Now, thank you guys for listening to me yak for a whole 20 minutes. Your responsibility currently is to take the syllabus home and go over the big stuff with your parents or your guardians. And then there's a form on this QR code that will take you through just some questions to help me provide you the best graphic design experience, as well as how to get in the most touch with your parents or guardians and how we can move forward and have a good semester. Does all that make sense? Sorry, it's another really boring day. I promise it'll be more fun on Monday. Anybody have any questions on the syllabus as a whole, on a specific section, on a specific responsibility, what you guys are supposed to be doing? We all good?
Mood board due today.
Mood boards are due today, and I'm going to use the rest of the periods to help you figure that out. Yes, so the current week's assignments are due today. They are due at midnight. So if you have to finish those up, that is another thing on our agenda. We look right here. It's work time. These are your 3 activities that you need to have completed by midnight tonight for full credit. And remember, if they're not in by midnight tonight, the max you can get on that is the 70%. However, you can turn those in all the way up until April 15th, and then they will close. Sound good? Any questions? Okay, sweet. I'm going to wrap this up. The rest of the time is yours. Thank you guys for listening. I do very much appreciate it.